Welcome to Mount Wacom, one of the largest inactive volcanoes in tech. Is it safe to be here? Yeah, oh yeah. Other volcanoes like Huion XP Pen, they go off every few months. But Wacom, this bad boy is dormant. Nothing's coming out of this thing. Yeah, Mount Wacom isn't dormant anymore. They have released a lot of products this year, an Intuos Pro, two really nice Cintiqs, two really good Android tablets, and this, the Wacom One 14-inch pen display. This is basically a little monitor that connects to your laptop. You can draw on it using the pen. It works on Windows, Macs, even Chromebooks, if they have the latest version of Chrome OS. And I am going to give credit where credit is due. Wacom has been releasing affordable products lately. Not the cheapest things that you can buy, but affordable. And this new Wacom One continues that trend, coming in at just $300. It comes in this pretty simple box. There's not a lot in here. You have the tablet, and then underneath that, you have the little pen wrapped up in some paper that's kind of hard to get off. And you have a single USB Type-C cord and some paperwork. That's it. Now, hooking this up and getting this running worked absolutely perfectly for me. I was able to just hook this up with the included cable, download and install the drivers on my computer, and I was off to the races. This is where my experience and your experience may differ a little bit. A lot of tablets come with more cables, like an HDMI/USB combo cable. That's something that comes with a lot of XP Pen and Huion devices out there. And the reason other tablets come with more cables is because not every computer has a USB Type-C port. And some that do may not be able to handle video and data out of that single port. So what those additional cables that usually come in the box allow you to do is they give you different ways that you can connect this to your computer. So for example, it might have an HDMI port instead of the USB Type-C port. You could use that. Okay, cool. So how would I connect this to my computer then? Wacom sells an adapter for $80 for this tablet that gives you that HDMI functionality. The downside is that takes a big bite out of the budget price that this tablet is shooting for. And you might be wondering here, hey, you mentioned those other manufacturers, they have 3-in-1 cables. Can I use one of those? Probably not, because XP Pen's tablets have 2 ports on them, one for power, one for video data out. This just has a single port, which is why you need their special adapter to use it. Wacom advertises this as your first pen display. And that makes a lot of sense. Partially because of that price, but also partially because it doesn't have a lot of the pro features that you expect to see on the higher-end Wacom tablets. Starting with the screen itself, it's okay. What you have here is a 1080p display. It's 14 inches, so 1080p at that size isn't terrible. It doesn't look horrible. It gets the job done. When you look at the screen, you're definitely going to see pixels. It's not going to be as dense and as crisp as your phone screen or your tablet screen, but it's okay. I like that they went with 14 inches. The older versions of this, they had a 12-inch version, a 13-inch version. I think going just a touch bigger gives you just a little bit more drawing room. That's kind of nice. They also continued the trend that most pen displays have now, which is like the bonded screen, and that really cuts down on parallax. That's where your pen tip is offset from where the cursor is appearing on the screen below it, which can be a little annoying, maybe a lot annoying, but basically this gives you more accuracy. This screen also has an anti-glare coating on it. I like pen displays that have anti-glare coatings on it because it adds a little bit more texture, so when you're drawing with the pen, it gives you more control. It's not as slick as drawing on like a glossy glass screen. So I feel like it's just a better feel for that pen. It's a little scratchy. Not very scratchy, but just a touch. How does the display look? It's a budget display. It's not very expensive, so I didn't expect it to look very good, and it looks like its price. I would say that it gets the job done. The one thing that did kind of bug me a little bit here is that the viewing angles aren't particularly great. When I was filming this for the review, my head kept getting in the way of the camera because I had to move over it more in order to see the image clearly. The build of the device is fine. It's a nice plastic shell. It's pretty simple. It's pretty thin. It's very lightweight. There's this little loop here where you can even slide your pen in when you're not using it. That was a nice little touch. Along the back, there's these like 4 rubber pads, so that's going to help it from slipping around on your desk while it's just sitting there, so it kind of holds it in place. I liked that. Now, because of those viewing angles and because it's just more comfortable, I like to get this up on an angle. There's no feet here, there's no stand, there's no way to do that, so if you wanted to, you'd probably have to prop it up on something. I think I just have some like little bricks underneath this thing, some little blocks to to kind of keep it up at a slight angle for me. But if I was going to use this more, I'd probably dig up one of my old stands that I have sitting around somewhere in my closet. Since it is light and small, it's not that hard to actually slip into your bag and take with you, especially if you only need that one USB Type-C cable. At 14 inches, it's going to fit in most laptop bags next to your laptop anyway. You're probably going to want a way to protect the screen, although the bag that this comes in when it's packed in the box is good enough that you could slide it in that and then put that in your laptop bag and save a little money that way. It's probably not going to hold up forever because it's not really designed for that, but it'll work from time to time. This is the Lenovo Omni Chair, the sponsor of today's video. I spend most of my day sitting in a chair, and if I'm not careful, it will wreck my back. A lot of ergonomic chairs only work if you sit perfectly still. The second you lean forward, reach out to grab something, or even just shift in your seat, the support completely disappears. And that's the downside of static ergonomics. Your body ends up doing most of the work instead of the chair. And that's where this chair really stands out. It's not just ergonomic, it's what they call dynamic ergonomic. This chair adapts as you move instead of forcing you to stay locked into one position. And after sitting in it for the past week, I definitely get what they mean. The coolest part for me is the Bionic Flex Fit backrest, because everyone's spine has a unique shape, and this chair adjusts in real time with an electric motor to match your back. When I first sat down in this chair, I could feel the backrest sliding in and hugging that curve of my lower back. Then there's the dynamic support system. Your posture changes up to 13 times an hour, and instead of forcing you to readjust, the Omni uses what they call a synchro link mechanism. The seat, the backs, the armrest, the headrest, they all move together, so when you lean forward or recline all the way back, your whole body stays aligned without you even thinking about it. The headrest tilts automatically, so my eyes stay level with my monitor even when I lean back. And the armrests slide with me, and it just makes it way easier to stay comfortable when I'm working. Now, the part I did not expect to use this much is the Omni Stretch Massage. You can recline all the way back to 160 degrees, tap on a button on the armrest, and the chair gently lifts your lower back to decompress your spine. It's nothing too intense. It's a pretty chill stretch. It's a great way to decompress your spine and take a quick break during the day. There are 4 reclining modes here: an upright sitting mode that's set up at 105 degrees. That's called the deep focus mode. A more laid back mode that's 120 degrees. I spend a lot of time here. That's called the solo work mode. And 135 degrees to relax. It's really nice for kicking back and gaming. And then there's the all the way down 160 degrees mode, which I like a lot for laying down, and it's great for that massage mode. Now, a lot of the comfort comes from the materials that they're using here. The seat cushion uses different layer densities so you don't get a lot of pressure on your legs. The armrests are padded but still firm, and the neck rest uses breathable sponge that's very supportive. I've sat in this chair for hours, and I don't feel any of that usual stiffness that comes from a long day of work. Now, setting up the chair, super easy. It only took me 15 minutes to do, and once it's all together, you are done. There's a battery that slides out that recharges with a USB Type-C cord, and it's going to last you about a month per charge. And the warranty on this thing is solid, with a 5-year warranty on the frame and 2 years on the electronics. So whether you're a designer or a developer or a gamer or just someone who sits for long hours at your desk, the Omni is going to give you the support that these static chairs can't. It adapts as you move, keeps your posture healthy, relieves pressure, and even helps you recharge. If you're looking for an easier and healthier way to sit, check out my link down below in the description to get your Lenovo Omni Chair today. Now we can talk about this pen, because this is one of the areas where the pen is also good enough. It's not nearly as good as Wacom's Pro Pen, and I've been using that a lot lately, reviewing the Cintiqs and reviewing those Android tablets. They come with that pen, and I love that pen. This pen uses the same technology that Samsung uses in their tablets, which is to say it's pretty good. And if it is your first drawing tablet, that's gonna be fine. The drawing that I'm drawing here in the background, I really chose a bad one to use for this. When I draw architecture, I like to pinch and zoom and use my fingers to rotate the canvas. This device does not have a touch screen to it, and it's small enough where I could just rotate the entire device, but since I'm filming it, I don't want to keep rotating it while I'm drawing. That would just make you guys sick watching it on camera, especially in fast forward. But anyway, I thought the lines were fine. They're straight, they're smooth. I got decent pressure out of this thing. The initial activation rate isn't nearly as good as the Pro Pen. The tilt isn't as good as the Pro Pen. pen. Overall, everything it does just isn't quite as good as the Pro Pen, but everything is good enough. And this pen is a lot better than some of the cheap Android styluses out there that I've also been testing this past year, so that's a plus. So if I was going to rate this pen, I'd give it like a 7.5. What about using this on a Chromebook? I've mainly been talking about using it on Windows or Mac up to this point. But if you have a Chromebook, maybe something you're using for school, this might be a good option. Nah, I'm gonna say no. This is not Wacom's fault. Drawing on this is pretty good on a Chromebook, but Chrome OS is using Android apps that are designed for touchscreens. So using those apps on a non-touchscreen device like this Wacom tablet just kinda sucks. Even when attached to a Chromebook, you would think, hey, I've got keyboard shortcuts like a Mac or a PC, but they don't always work. In Krita, I can zoom out, but I can't zoom in with the keyboard. I use Krita as an example, Clip Studio is another one, because those are desktop apps that have been brought over to Android, and so they do have some keyboard shortcuts that are working in those apps, so they're semi-usable even without a touchscreen. But other drawing apps like High Paint or IBIS Paint X are just totally unusable because without a touchscreen, you just can't do the things that those apps are designed to do, zooming in and out, tapping to undo, that sort of thing. So this is one of those things where you can make it work if you really, really wanted to, but I personally don't care for the experience. And I think at this price point, you're just better off going on with an inexpensive Android tablet. A great example, and this one does cost more, so maybe it's not a great example, but Wacom's own Move Ink 11 is fantastic, and it's geared for beginners too. There you're going to get this amazing drawing experience. You're going to get the Pro Pen 3, and you're paying $100, $150 more. If you do want to come in closer to this price range, check out the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite. Right now, that's $350, but I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to go on sale in the near future for around $300, maybe even less, and that's going to give you the same exact pen experience that this has, but you're going to be native in Android, and you're going to get all the benefits there. So you've probably heard from my voice throughout this whole video that I'm having a hard time doing a full recommendation of this tablet. I love Wacom's products, but Wacom just doesn't do budget stuff super well. I'm glad to see them trying, though. I think this is a really good attempt, and I think, in general, this tablet is fine. It is not bad. Anybody who buys this tablet is probably going to enjoy it, and that's good. But since I use a lot of different things, I'm comparing this in my head to, say, like the Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3 that came out last year. It's about the same size, it's a little bit smaller, but I felt that the screen looked better. I felt that the pen worked better. It has shortcut keys along the side of the device, so everything's right there. You don't need an external keyboard to undo and that sort of thing. XP Pen has similar devices, kind of in that price range, maybe a little bit cheaper. And so while this device is absolutely fine, I think you might be better off if you're a beginner going with the Huion or the XP Pen. Especially that since with those, they do come with a couple extras that are going to help you connect this to your computer no matter what kind of laptop or computer that you're working with. What do you think of this new Wacom One 14? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching the video, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.